So I received this really interesting email today from Facebook having to do with something known as Facebook Protect. If you've never heard of Facebook Protect before, you're not alone. I hadn't either. In fact, at first I thought it might be a scam. But it turns out that it's this program Facebook has to help individuals who have the potential to access a large audience on their platform to make sure that they're protected in the event of being targeted by hackers or social engineering campaigns. It sounds really similar to Google's advanced protection program that I've talked about before, but this is Facebook's implementation, and it turned out to be a little bit weird. I want to show you what they asked of me, what I had to do, and what you can learn from all this. Welcome to All Things Secured. My name's Josh, and let's go ahead and look down here at my computer. I went into my email, and the first thing I did when I opened my email is honestly be skeptical, and that's what I teach often. My STOP method, one of the things that it talks about is to just be skeptical. But if you notice here in the email, it even says you need to turn on Facebook Protect by April 23rd, or we're going to lock you out of your account. They're trying to make this urgent, which in Facebook's case was real, but in a lot of scamming, that's usually a red flag for me that an email might be a scam, is if they're urging me to do something super fast, if it's time sensitive. And then there's a button at the bottom. I never want to touch those buttons if I don't have to. So what I did is I decided to go into my Facebook account, and usually in these cases, if Facebook is asking you to do something, if you go into your account, they'll have some sort of notification showing you that they did send you this type of message. Well, I went in there, and the odd thing was they locked me out of all my settings, all my security and privacy settings. And so this was a little bit odd to me. I decided to go ahead and look into their help files. And sure enough, I found out that Facebook Protect, if I receive an email from security@facebookmail.com, that it probably is legit. So sure enough, I look in there, it is from that facebookmail.com address. So I felt a little more comfortable pressing that button. But again, usually this isn't something that I would like to do, except that Facebook's really given me no choice. So if I click on this, what was really surprising to me is what happened next. I was shocked that they didn't actually require anything extra of me. As you see here, they say we're just going to go through the process and double check everything. And when they did, they found out that I already have a strong password and I already have two-factor authentication set up, because that's what I preach to you. Obviously, I should do it for myself. And this is just Facebook's way of double checking, which is odd to me because they should already know that, and maybe I should be automatically entered into this Facebook Protect instead of having to go through this charade of clicking through and saying, oh great, I actually do have what I thought I had. Google's advanced protection program does a similar thing, except I don't necessarily think that it feels this much of a charade. The difference here is Facebook Protect seems to be an invitation-only type of program. Again, it doesn't seem to be that special, so don't feel left out if you haven't been invited to the Facebook Protect program. But it also just means that if you don't have Facebook Protect or the opportunity to join into Facebook Protect, then all that you really need to do is make sure that you go into your settings and make sure that you do have a strong password. Make sure that you do have two-factor authentication set up, not just once, but a backup, so that if you lose your phone that has the Authenticator app, or if you lose the key, which is what I use, my YubiKey, I'll leave a link in the description below this video. If you lose that key or you lose that phone, you won't lose access to your account. That's why I always recommend a primary and a backup two-factor authentication for your Facebook account. In fact, if you have a few extra minutes, I would recommend you go and jump into this video, change a number of these settings to make sure you really lock down your Facebook account, and then double check that you have a strong password in 2FA. If you have any questions about Facebook Protect, leave them in the comments below, and thanks so much for watching.